Maria's life had never been easy. Her father was a fisherman who lost his boat during a powerful typhoon 3 years earlier. Her mother worked long hours washing clothes for other families, earning just enough to buy rice for the day. Maria was the oldest of 4 siblings, and most days, she was more of a caretaker than a child. School was something she loved, but attending regularly was a luxury. Singing, however, was the one thing that never left her. She sang while cooking, while fetching water, while rocking her youngest brother to sleep. Music was her escape, her prayer, her way of breathing when life felt too heavy. When she arrived at the AGT auditions, she had already waited in line for nearly 12 hours. She hadn't eaten since early morning. Around her were confident performers with glittering costumes, backup tracks, and practiced smiles. Maria had none of that, no manager, no vocal coach, no sob story prepared. Just her voice. When it was finally her turn, she stepped onto the stage, and the first question came, simple but terrifying. "What is your name, and where are you from?" She answered softly, almost whispering, and the microphone caught the slight tremble in her voice. She explained she was from the Philippines, and she had come alone. When asked why she decided to audition, she paused. Her eyes scanned the audience, then dropped to the floor. She said she wanted to help her family. She said she wanted to prove that someone like her could stand on a stage like this. The judges listened, but their expressions were neutral. They had heard thousands of similar stories. Dreams were common here. Miracles were not. Then came the moment that almost ended everything. One of the judges asked what song she would be singing. Maria hesitated again. She said it was an original arrangement of a classic song. That answer raised eyebrows. Another judge gently suggested that maybe she should sing something safer, something familiar. Maria nodded, but her hands tightened around the microphone. She quietly said that this song was the one she practiced with her mother at night. It was the song that reminded her why she was still standing. There was a pause. The judges exchanged looks. Time was tight. The schedule was packed. One judge leaned forward and said, "Are you sure you're ready?" Maria swallowed hard. Her eyes were glossy now. She nodded. The music started. For the first few seconds, nothing happened. The room felt awkward. A few people shifted in their seats. It felt like the kind of audition that would be politely stopped halfway through. Then Maria opened her mouth, and the first note floated out, soft, fragile, almost breaking. And then something incredible happened. That fragile note turned into a steady stream of sound, rich with emotion. Her voice carried pain, hope, and longing all at once. It wasn't just singing. It felt like she was telling her entire life story in melody. The room grew quiet, no coughing, no whispering. Every eye was locked on her. As she reached the first chorus, her voice grew stronger. The trembling disappeared. Confidence replaced fear. She closed her eyes, and it felt like she wasn't on the AGT stage anymore. She was back home, singing under a leaking roof, imagining a future she never thought she'd reach. The judges sat up straighter. One of them raised their eyebrows in disbelief. Another leaned back, stunned. The audience, which had been unsure moments earlier, began to react. You could feel the shift, like electricity moving through the room. Halfway through the song, Maria hit a note so pure, so powerful, that gasps echoed through the theater. It wasn't loud for the sake of being loud. It was controlled, intentional, emotional, the kind of note that makes you feel something deep in your chest. One judge put a hand over their mouth. Another shook their head slowly as if trying to process what they were hearing. This was no longer an audition. This was a moment. Maria continued, pouring everything she had into the final verse. Tears streamed down her face, but she didn't stop. Her voice cracked slightly, not from weakness, but from truth. And when she reached the final note, she held it, letting it ring through the silence. When the song ended, there was a split second of complete silence. Then the entire audience stood up. The applause was thunderous. People screamed. People cried. Strangers hugged each other. Maria stood frozen, her hands covering her face, overwhelmed. She hadn't expected this. She had only hoped not to be rejected. The judges rose to their feet one by one. One of them wiped away tears openly. Another walked up to the stage, breaking protocol, just to tell her how extraordinary she was. They asked her where she learned to sing like that. She answered honestly, from life. One judge admitted they had almost stopped her before she began. They said that would have been the biggest mistake of the season. Another said her voice didn't just sound good, it meant something. It reminded them why music matters. When it came time to vote, the answer was obvious. 4 yesies. But it didn't stop there. One judge reached for the golden buzzer. Maria looked confused. She didn't fully understand what was happening until golden confetti exploded from above, raining down on her like a dream. She collapsed to her knees, sobbing, covering her head as the audience roared. In that moment, a poor girl from a forgotten village became a symbol of hope. Not because she was perfect, not because she was trained, but because she was real. Backstage, Maria hugged her mother over a video call, both of them crying uncontrollably. Her mother kept saying, "We did it, and Maria kept repeating, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." The clip went viral within hours, millions of views, comments from around the world. People saying her voice gave them chills. People saying her story gave them strength. Donations poured in. Offers came from producers, coaches, and charities. But the most important thing was something money couldn't buy. Maria believed in herself now. In later rounds of the competition, she continued to shine. Each performance carried the same honesty, the same raw emotion. She never tried to be anyone else. She stayed true to her roots, often dedicating songs to her family, to her country, to anyone who felt invisible. Whether she won the season or not almost didn't matter. She had already won something bigger, a future, a voice that would never again be ignored. And that is why this audition will be remembered not just as a great performance, but as a reminder. Sometimes the quietest people carry the loudest stories. Sometimes the ones who look like they are about to be rejected are the ones who are about to change everything. If this story moved you, if Maria's journey touched your heart, remember that dreams don't belong only to the rich, the confident, or the powerful. They belong to anyone brave enough to sing, even when their voice is shaking.